Hey guys, it's Girl Got Game, and welcome to Steam Prison. And you're probably expecting my next words to be, welcome to the beginning of the grand ending. But no. No, that is not my next words, because this is actually Girl Got Game of the past. Of the Steam Prison past. So the reason I have come here from the past is I have a story I want to share with all of you. You are not going to believe what just happened. So, you know how I've been talking about the somewhat borkedness of the DLC implementation for Steam Prison? And I was explaining, okay, so you gotta go to Steam, you gotta click on the game, you gotta pick between like the normal Steam Prison and the Finn DLC to get to the DLC, blah, 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 blah. Well, last night, I was coming onto Steam Prison because I needed a picture of Warner's dumb face for my thumbnail. So thank you, Warner, for your dumb face being very hard to find online, by the way. Otherwise, I would never have discovered this. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so I turned on Steam Prison, and I was like, oh, well that's weird. It didn't ask me if I want to access the DLC or not. It just started. And so I'm like, okay, well I'm gonna go into load, and I'm gonna, look, and I'm like, where is all my data? Like, this was all full of stuff, right? And I'm like, oh, weird. I only have, like, stuff from the DLC. I guess I must have clicked on the Finn DLC without realizing it? I'm like, okay, alright, I'm gonna go back out, blah, 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 blah. Try to open it again. Same thing, no option. I'm like, okay. And I go to load. Same dealio. And now I'm starting to panic. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? So then I went to extras. And then I went to my ending list. No, I didn't do that. I actually went to story. And then I freaked out because I'm like, holy crap, this is the way Mara's looks on her Switch version. Hold on a minute. Whoa, 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 whoa. And I went to my ending list and I died. This is what I see. 9% completion. And all my endings have been wiped out except for Finn's. Finn is the only one that I've got endings for, and I'm like, I was at 90-something%. Wait. And so I'm like, oh crap, wait. All my pictures are gone. Everything is just gone. And if I go to after stories, I can't access anybody's except Finn's. It's all closed. Actually, I want to see something too. I didn't actually look at this. I can still access Finn. What the heck? I haven't done the grand ending, and you're like, oh yeah, you can look at short story 1. Finn, you suck. Anyway. So I started having, I literally broke down into a Joker-esque laugh. I'm sorry I wasn't recording at the time. It was a beautiful thing, because my husband came in very concernedly and was like, are you okay? And I'm like, I lost all my save files and I'm back to 9%. I'm great. Anyway, panic attack after the fact. I went onto the Steam page for this game and discovered that they made a massive update to it. The major thing was that they implemented Chinese localization for it, which is awesome. And apparently at the same time, they decided to implement the DLC perfectly now. This is how it should be. This is how it should have been from the very beginning. And so I am thrilled about that. But I was like, but my save files! So anyway, I did discover that you can load an old version of Steam Prison and get your save files back if you are currently in the middle of a playthrough, like I am. But because I'm a crazy person, I'm not going to do that. I am going to go back through this game, now that it's properly implemented, and get all these things back to the way they should be. Because I am doing a review, and my review was going to be based, it was going to talk a little bit at least about how I was not impressed with the way they implemented the DLC for this game. But now, it seems to be implemented the way it should have been all along. I need to take that into account. So, anyway, I just didn't want to be alone in sharing the timing of this update. I've been playing this for months, and then I get to, like, the last ending I need to do, and it's like, what if we just, deleted all your save files? Well, what would you think about that? What if we just put you back down to, like, under 10%? Wouldn't that be neato mosquito? I'm like, no, it would not be neato mosquito, actually. That kind of sucks pretty bad. So, yeah. Not a fan of that, but you know what? It won't take me too long to go through all that. And, I'm curious. I really want to see if they implemented other stuff. Like, I know that there's character-themed ending songs when you get, like, the best ending for the guys, where they, like, the actual voice actor sings a song during the credits. So I want to see if that's been implemented. All kinds of stuff I want to see. So, wish me luck, guys. Molly from the past, signing out. Hoping to give the Molly of the future an up-to-date version so that you guys can enjoy the grand ending. But anyway, thank you for listening to my spiel, and I hope you got a bit of a chuckle out of my predicament. Because I certainly had a good old laugh about it. Alright, and with that, we're gonna go in to the grand ending, hopefully. I hope I got it ready for you, Molly of the future. Good luck, and enjoy! Thank you very much, Girl Got Game from the past. This is Girl Got Game from the here and now. Hello, everybody. This is also Girl Got Game post-ish COVID. I am finally feeling a little bit better, if you can believe that. Hopefully I don't sound too horrible. I'm fighting a cough is the last thing. Last thing to let me go, but I am so anxious to get into this game and finish stuff off and find out what's going on. So, I'm gonna do my best. If there's long moments of silence, it's because I'm editing out coughing. You're welcome in advance. Alright, but before we jump in, Molly of the past, before she got sick, actually managed to go back and unlock everything once again. So now we only have one left. Oh, relief. And I think we've got all our pictures back as well. One of Finn's is missing, which is weird. And I'm missing two now. I think there was only one before in here, so unless stuff has been moved to Finn's, I can't remember what the earlier layout looked like before, but there you go. That's our status. The other thing I must report, sadly, is that they did not port in the character ending songs for the best endings, so that was butts and a half, unfortunately. And the other thing is that, what else was I going to say about that? Like, nothing has changed. Nothing really major has changed, is that everything is in one thing. So, I mean, that's still good. It's just not as great as I was hoping. I was hoping they were going to implement more of the Switch stuff in with this latest update, but it didn't happen, so... Ah well, what can we do about this? Not much, except complain bitterly, which I have done. Alright, so we are going to start... I'm starting fresh. I'm going to be skipping a lot of stuff, but I kind of wanted to spend time with Mom and Dad one more time because we're finally, I'm hoping, going to get our answers regarding their murder. So let's jump in from the beginning to remind ourselves who we're doing this for. And we'll skip through all the stuff with Finn and Inez and blah, 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 because we've done that already. And I know that we're supposed to get a new option in the common route at some point. I don't know what it is. I don't know when it is. I just know it happens at some point here. So I'm like, well, I might as well go through some of this stuff again to remind myself anyways, and then we'll find out what this choice is, and we'll go from there. Sound good? All right. Let's begin with the clock. Darkness. At first there was nothing but a starless black void. Then I began to come back to my senses, starting with smell. Hey, that kind of sounds like me. because of my sickness. I could smell dust. I could smell perfume. And a moment later, my sense of touch returned. My fingers were drenched in warm liquid. As I flexed my knuckles, I came to an important realization. I existed. I forgot about this. I was alive! I opened my eyes, letting light into the void. Mom? Dad? I'm at home. My vision blurred every time I took a breath. It was hard to focus on anything. There was a stinging pain on the back of my head. But at least I had to get up. I took 2 deep breaths, then climbed to my feet. Standing proved easier than I'd expected. My mind was sluggish. My thoughts moved like mud. I didn't know why I was there. I didn't know how I'd come to be unconscious. I didn't know what... No. I knew what I could smell. I could smell blood. I turned. There were 2 figures sprawled on the floor. No. It can't be. Father! Mother! Why? Who would do this? I couldn't imagine the culprit, much less the motive, that was behind a shocking scene like this. Questions overwhelmed my thoughts like a noisy crowd. My heart began to race. My gaze caught that of my reflection. Was it I? I had killed them. Hell of an opening. You know what? Let's do the opening one last time. It's our last time seeing this. Once upon a time, the world was cut in 2. But will it be reforged as one? That's what I want to know going into this grand ending. So many possibilities for this. Can't believe we're finally here. What is the grand ending to this? I drift through the city, endlessly searching for the place I belong. Found relief. Oh my goodness. Memories in these deepest depths of the world's despair. I can feel myself falling apart. Interesting, they had Valentine without an E in the opening there. Valentine. One girl fighting the whole world's madness. Known as love. And assorted other characters, including Finn, who doesn't get his own. Oof. Poor Finn. Alright. A world long bound within the bars of a cage. Steam prison. Ooh, hype! 2 days before the case. Hiya! Let's go. The time. It's already noon. I'd like to sleep a little more, but then I'll be late. I climbed out of bed. As I dressed, I checked what the sky was like out the window. It looks like a fair enough day. It didn't matter much to me what kind of day it was, except for those times when bad weather made my work difficult. That's it. I put on my familiar uniform and buckled my sword belt, then straightened up in front of the mirror. My skin was clear and healthy, and I was in high spirits. If nothing else, I never feel run down. My job required a lot of physical exercise. I couldn't compete with my colleagues in terms of physical strength, but my endurance and fortitude were excellent. The only remaining step in my routine was to comb my hair. All right, time for another day of work. Let's do it, girl. I went to the dining room for a bite to eat. Good day, Mother, Father. I made sure to acknowledge the servants as well with polite nods.
Oh, you're already awake.
I can't spend the day sleeping. I'm on duty this afternoon. Hold on a second. Sorry, felt a tickle. My mother knelt in front of a small statue to pray. I joined her and closed my eyes. May today be uneventful. We pray to Yune Sekie. He was our country's greatest saint. He was ageless and immortal. Blessed by God, he was our Hierophant, and we worshipped him. I asked the servants to bring my meal. My father turned his attention away from the newspaper and towards me. I tensed a little, as I do.
You must be exhausted. You had the night shift as well, didn't you?
There's no need for you to worry. Doing what I love is energizing, not exhausting.
You might think so, but I have my doubts. Are you really getting enough rest?
I sat down on a chair, nodding emphatically. You both worry far too much about me. There isn't any reason to. You can see for yourselves how healthy I am. We had a variation of the same conversation almost every day. It's heartwarming that they care so much about me, but I'm an adult. I know my limits. There's truly no cause for concern. I'll complete my duties and then come back just as I always do.
Duties? Why did you insist on joining the police force? You could have followed in my footsteps if you'd wanted.
No, I'm afraid I couldn't have become a politician. Sitting still irritates me, and being quiet for hours would have been unbearable.
I know, but being a police officer is so dangerous.
Mother, we went through this a long time ago. My reason then still stands. I want to protect the weak. Even if we'll never see eye to eye, you agreed to support me in my ambition. Please don't go back to trying to dissuade me from it.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'll try not to.
I appreciate it. And I'm deeply grateful that you've given me the freedom to pursue this career despite my high birth. Thank you.
You've always been a stubborn girl. If we can't convince you, we have to support you. Now, in other matters...
Yes? I have a bad feeling. I began to eat as I waited for my father to speak.
You really need to try on the wedding dress.
I choked on my food. My mother nodded as I spluttered, I mean.
Yes, today. You haven't forgotten the wedding, have you?
Maybe a little. I gave a wry grin, wiping away the tears from my coughing fit.
Really now? You understand that this is your own wedding we're talking about here, don't you?
Somewhat, I suppose.
My girl, even if you're not yet 20, you're an adult. This is about your future. How can it just slip your mind?
I'm sorry. In my country, adulthood begins at 16, once compulsory education comes to an end. At that age, we can find employment, drink alcohol, and the temple begins to send out marriage notifications. It's not like I think of myself as a child. I didn't know what to say. My father pressed the attack with a broad smile.
Marrying Fitzgerald Evans, uniting our family tree with the Evans family is a true honor.
Yeah, about that.
I want to proceed with the ceremony preparations as swiftly as possible so as to avoid any possible insult to them. And for that, you must try on the wedding dress. Understand?
Yes. Their stares made me feel deeply uncomfortable. If I'd attempted to drag any of the servants into the discussion, they'd have taken my parents' side for certain. What am I going to do? Oh, my colleague is here. Goodbye!
And the dress?
Have a wonderful day, both of you! Goodbye!
That girl. Does she really understand, I wonder?
Nope, I don't wanna. Hello, Finny boy. Alright, we are going to skip a bit because we just did all of this with you, like, literally last route, so don't need to rehash that again. Return to pick up bag or catch man? Catch man. Why not? Done both of these before. Okay. I'll do is that the truth, and then it's shortly after here. Okay. You may have noticed that it doesn't do the loud bong when you pick a choice, which I also like with the update, I will say. Oh my goodness, this is like so much slower to skip through though like this. Alright, back and I go. I'm home.
Welcome back. It's so late.
Oh, yes. I gripped my sword hilt, my tone proud. I tried on the wedding dress. I expected them to be happy, but they didn't even bat an eyelash. I gave them a quizzical look. Is something wrong?
Did you really?
You're doubting me?
After the resistance you put up, of course.
Of course, huh? It's a little hurtful to be suspected of lying by your own parents.
I'm sorry. You tried on the dress. Your grandmother made the cloth for that dress while she was still alive. Did you like it?
Sure. That much was honest truth. I don't like dresses, but the fabric was pretty. I think so.
You think so?
No, I like it. Grandmother's cloth was superb.
Yes, it really was. I'm glad you tried it on. Now we can begin with the preparations for the ceremony and set a date.
A date? There was no date before?
Of course. We told you we would only set a date after you tried on the wedding dress. Did you forget that?
Yes. I really did forget that. In fact, I'd forgotten that we'd ever talked about it. I'm really not enthusiastic about getting married. I was surprised at how much I didn't care.
Things will start getting hectic. Look after your health.
There's still more for me to do?
Of course. We have to select a venue, send out invitations, make sure you lose a few pounds, get you looking really beautiful, and...
I feel dizzy. Can I have something to eat? I'm very hungry.
Yes, of course. But don't eat too much. You have to fit into the dress.
I know. Marriage is a lot worse than I expected. Blech. I gotta lose some weight. Girl's skinny, Mom. Mom. I am so tired. I placed my sword next to the wall and collapsed onto my bed. I knew I had to change my clothes, but my body demanded rest. Today was really exhausting. My parents continued to berate me about my wedding and future husband throughout dinner. They tried to tell me that descendants aren't the be-all, end-all. The government had decided my marriage. It was nothing of special significance to me. My parents are very happy together, but how was I going to feel? Would Lord Fitzgerald and I ever feel as comfortable together as my parents did? I can't really picture that. Catching that thief already felt like an event of the distant past. That just proved how worn out I felt. I want to sleep, but I have to change. I had to prepare for the next day as well. Should I tell my parents that I'm going into the depths? My orders don't say that I'm not allowed to tell my family. It didn't seem like the right time. They were unlikely to oppose it outright since it was part of the promotion process, but I knew they'd make a fuss about it. The depths truly were an unknown, terrifying world to us. I won't tell them. No need to cause pointless worry. It's probably better to tell them after the fact. After reaching my decision, I crawled under the sheets. Immediately, I began to melt into the soft mattress, my whole body stretching out. Good night, I murmured and closed my eyes. 1 day before the case. 1 day. Hello, Finn again. Alright. Well, we can skip through the entire going down to the depths. Let's go together, old boo. Alright, flashback to Inez. I'm gonna have our fight with Saxon Brandenburg. And then this guy. Ugh, the doctor. I gotta be stronger. Okay, we can... Okay. I'm home. Oh, Cyrus, you're finally back. Mother? I looked at my frazzled mother in surprise and nodded. I'm sorry if you were worried. My work took longer than I thought. Yes, yes. I was so worried. My mother, still far from calm, began to pace back and forth. This is odd. They've never been this upset before. I looked curiously at the clock on the wall. It's late, but not midnight. There had been times when I'd been even later, and they'd been exasperated, but they'd never been upset before. Mother, is something...
You're finally back.
Father.
We got a letter from the temple earlier informing us that the marriage was called off. Did something happen at work?
Called off? I thought of my duel with Sir Saxon. That was in the depths. It's unrelated. Trying to think of any way that the duel could be the reason, I shook my head. No.
I've never heard of a marriage being called off. Why did they... What are the other families going to think?
Mother, please, calm down.
I can't calm down. How can you remain calm right now?
Well, the government decided my marriage. Perhaps they had a reason to decide against it.
A reason? What kind of reason?
I don't know. I'll go to the temple first thing tomorrow and ask. Please calm down.
You've had to work late today. I'm sure you're very tired. Get a good night's sleep.
My father took pity on me. I don't want to leave my mother alone in this state, but my father will be with her. Good night, Mother, Father. I'll see you tomorrow. And that was the last time I ever spoke to them. Alright, well, I'm glad I kind of went through that again. They had their hearts set on this marriage. Then it just got called off for no apparent reason. And then the fiancé shows up and murders them. Ugh, man. I gotta get justice for Mom and Dad. I gotta. I'm dead tired. I placed my sword against the wall and took off my overcoat. Then I began to untie my outer garment. It was a replacement, with my own uniform handed in for mending. The buttons were in slightly different places, making my movements clumsy. I was relieved to finally get into my night clothes. Way too much happened today. It had been my first time to the depths. It was a crude world compared to the heights. I thought about the criminals that lived there and their overseers, the hounds. I would have liked to talk to my parents about it, but that wasn't the right time. My marriage, long in the process of planning, had been abruptly called off. I'm not as upset as my mother, but I assumed the reason it wasn't hitting me as hard as it was her was my long-standing antipathy about it. That said, we can't really ignore it. My mother was right. Mid-tier nobility like my family had to maintain certain appearances. If word got out that our union with the Fitzgerald family was not to be, the shame might drive my mother to shut herself up in the house. At the very least, we need to find out why. A reason my mother and the world could accept. And that I could too. Tomorrow will be hell again. You have no idea. I wriggled down into bed and took a deep breath. After only a few inhales and exhales, I already felt like I was dissolving into the soft linen. My mind was weary. Good night. And there's the clock. Being very noisy about it. What was that sound? It was too loud to be a figment of my imagination. I need to go check. This is... Oh. This is the option. If we had just taken our sword the first time. We never did the first time. What if we just kill Fitzgerald right now? What if that's why I go to the depths this time? Mom and Dad are alive, but I still go down. Okay. Oh, I'm excited by these possibilities. Something feels very wrong. I remembered my mother's distress before I went to bed. I want to believe I won't need this, but just in case. I took my sword and left the room. I believe in you, girl. The house was dark and quiet, as I would have expected. But the silence feels wrong. I had a sensation of someone lurking in the darkness. I touched the hilt of my sword, hoping I was wrong. I'd taken a short sword from my room. Normally I carried a long sword, but it would have been unwieldy inside the house. This one will be more comfortable here. Of course, not having to use it was best. I saw a beam of light on the floor. Apparently there was light in one of the rooms. The parlor. Is someone in there? Or... I edged closer to the door, prepared for whatever might happen. I looked around. There was nobody else. Did someone forget to turn off the lights? I still didn't know what the noise had been, but nothing looked out of the ordinary. Maybe it was the wind, but... My foot hit something and I looked down. Why is there a knife here? I sensed something behind me and turned around, sword drawn. Whoa! Whoa! It worked this time! Yes! Just barely I managed to block the blow of his weapon. I turned the attack aside and pressed the attack. Who are you and what are you do- I was speechless when I saw my attacker. Lord Fitzgerald? Dun dun dun! Hi. He raised his sword before I could question him. Alright, you want to dance? Let's dance. Why are you doing this?
Don't ask questions. Just lay down your sword. I don't want to get rough.
Then sheathe your sword!
Sorry. I can't do that. I have a job to do.
A job?
Yes. To beat you down!
I blocked his attack and retreated a step. Lord Fitzgerald didn't hesitate, staying on the offensive. He doesn't seem particularly good, but... The room wasn't very large, and I couldn't fight as I would have liked. He was also the son of a noble. Of course, it was clear self-defense, but if I seriously injured him, it would still be problematic. Okay, girls thinking ahead. What do I do now?
What's all this noise here?
Mother! She's alive! How did you get in here? I thought Mom and Dad let you in, but how did you get in here? Excuse me.
So Tyrus, what are you doing? Oh, it's you, Evans.
Now! I saw that he was distracted and tackled him. We rolled over the floor. Fitzgerald Evans, you're under arrest for burglary and attempted assault. He was lying on the floor. I was sitting on his back, but I had no hope to restrain him with. No rope. I had no hope. No hope and no rope. Oh well. I pulled the strings out of my nightgown and tied his hands. Kinky. It will leave a mark, but he shouldn't be able to free himself. I checked my knot and lectured him on his rights. Lord Fitzgerald said nothing and only grimaced.